Are you ready to go beyond? Welcome to my show, Go Beyond. I'm your host, Jordana Foster. Each week, I will be showing you how to go beyond your limiting beliefs to take you and your business to the next level. If you're ready to redefine, recommit, reset, and re-engage yourself, this is the time, this is the place, go beyond. Are you ready?
Good evening, and welcome to Go Beyond. I'm your host, Jordana Foster. We are on Facebook at Ready, Set, Go Beyond and AMP2 TV Productions, so you can watch us or watch the replay at your convenience. You're also listening to us on 95.3 FM and 1470 AM. Once again, I'm your host, Jordana Foster, and I'm a motivational speaker, trainer, and mindset coach with the John Maxwell team. I'm very passionate about helping individuals, organizations, and businesses go beyond their limiting beliefs to achieve more by shifting their mindsets, showing them how to be more intentional, and giving them tools and strategies to get results for them and their businesses. Don't let fear or your own self-talk stop you from doing what you want to do or being who you want to be. If you're ready to reset, recharge, and take things to the next level in your life, I can help you go beyond. Contact me at 305-753-6758. Message me on my Facebook page at Ready, Set, Go Beyond, or email me at readysetgobeyond@gmail.com for more information about my coaching sessions for individuals and businesses, workshops, masterminds, or to find out how to be a guest or sponsor on my show to promote your business. So it's my absolute pleasure tonight to welcome my very special guest, Natalie Jacos from the Solution Law Firm. Natalie is a wonderful person and a very passionate and capable attorney who's all about helping and empowering others, which is exactly why we connected instantly. She's extremely knowledgeable, easy to talk to, thorough, and full of integrity. All of the traits that you should look for in an attorney. Natalie's known for putting her clients at ease when dealing with uncomfortable and difficult subjects, especially with regards to estate planning matters. Welcome to the show, Natalie. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so happy to have you as my guest here tonight.
Thank you so much, Jordana, for even having me. It's an honor to be here.
Love having you. I'm thrilled. So your law firm concentrates on personal injury and estate planning, and today we'll be discussing estate planning and some common issues that come up in estate planning practice. In your estate planning practice, making a connection, listening to your clients' needs, and making them feel at ease when making important life decisions is key to estate planning. And you're very good at it. At what you do, you focus a lot on education and awareness. I think that's one of the things that separates you from the rest. Why is education, the education component, so important to you? And can you please explain a little about your approach to law and how you serve your clients?
Thank you, Jordana. Sure. So at the Solution Law Firm, we're a little different than most other law firms, we believe. For us, the key is listening to our clients and understanding what their goals and what their concerns are so that we can actually come up with a solution that addresses those goals and concerns. So for us, it's very important that we have that dialogue with our clients and also take the time to understand where it is that they want to go and help them get there. So I think, being an attorney, part of that is being a counselor at law, and I think that's something that's often overlooked by many law firms.
I love that explanation, counselor at law. A counselor, you consult, you counsel, you ask questions. So by listening to your clients, you can deliver a better solution?
Exactly. I mean, in fact, that's actually why I named my law firm the Solution Law Firm.
Yeah, that's a great name. That's perfect.
Because that's what it's all about. It's providing solutions for our clients, for educating them and empowering them to make informed decisions about their legal matter. So I think that's what sets us apart from other firms.
clearly does set you apart. So, Natalie, what are some misconceptions that people seem to have about estate planning? I'm sure that there are a lot.
There are, but I would say that the number one misconception that I keep hearing over and over again is that a lot of people assume that estate planning is for the wealthy. But that's can be furthest from the truth.
The name estate on most people, right?
Exactly. And I think that just leads to this big misconception that you have to have $100 million. So, I mean, but in reality, you could have an estate that's worth $100,000 or $100 million. And I think that there are estate planning needs that need to be done for every different type of family. So I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions that we see most often.
That's important to know. That's definitely something that needed to, for people to know about and have that be explained. So why would someone need a will? And can you give some examples?
Okay, so what I've seen, and I think some of the most common reasons is for peace of mind. I think that's actually one of the main reasons people contact us to have their estate planning done, is to make sure that their family's protected. They want to make sure that should something happen to them, that their family has the ability to carry on and knows what they would want.
Peace of mind must be huge.
It is. And for me, that's, I think, one of the most important and biggest reasons that I think people end up deciding to get their planning done. Another thing would be if, one of the things would be to plan for our incapacitation. So, there's times that we may not be able to make those decisions for ourselves.
Right.
So estate planning allows you to make the decisions now that you are of sound mind, and to have everything in place to make it easier for our families, because that's really who will be dealing with everything when or should that day ever come. So that's another important aspect of estate
prepared.
planning. Right. And I mean, we see it all the time. Alzheimer's. Right. I mean, there's just so many different things that could happen. And by having your estate plan in place, you're setting everything up so that your family has the tools and the resources and the knowledge of what you would want done for you right there in front of them.
Keeping your best wish, your wish is what you in fact had in mind, not somebody interpreting or doing something that wasn't what you wanted.
Right, or a court appointing a guardian or something like that.
I can't even imagine.
Right, so, that I think is the number two reason. And then I think the third would be the people who want to make sure that certain people get certain assets. So if you have that concern, then estate planning is the way to go.
Allocating.
Right. Who gets what?
Being very clear.
Absolutely, right.
So who should have a will?
I would say anyone who has a house and assets and children, especially if you have children from a previous marriage or from before the marriage, then I would say that they would definitely need some form of estate planning that should be done. Another thing, again, like I had just mentioned, if you want to make sure that certain assets are allocated to certain people, you have to have some form of estate planning, whether it's a will or a trust, because otherwise the state laws will dictate who gets what, and it may not be who you want it to be.
Unbelievable.
Right. So if you want that control, then estate planning and having a will or a trust in place is the way to go.
And to have it be very specific, because then you get to customize it according to the needs of the person who is working with you to do that.
Right.
So you just mentioned trusts. What about trusts? How exactly are they different than a will? And why would someone need to set one up?
So a trust is another form of estate planning, and to contrast it from a will you basically you designate who you're leaving your assets to. With a trust, you can take it a step further and actually prescribe who, how, and when those people will be getting certain assets that you can't really do when you have a will-based plan. Right. So, for example, let's just say you pass away and you have a child that's 18 years of age. Right. And you have a $1 million life insurance policy. I don't know about you, but I know I wasn't mature enough at 18 to handle $1 million.
Who's mature at 18? Nothing against, I have two teenage boys, but they're not, if $1 million, they're thinking expensive sports cars or traveling the world. That's not to, they wouldn't be very practical. If that's the right word to use, they would not. They would want to, spend
Right, and that's the thing. I mean, I know what I would have done with $1 million at 18. I probably would have been to Europe a few times with all my friends. I would have probably not gone to college, right?
You're not concerned about school because it's just found money that you don't know it's a right.
And $1 million at 18 sounds like, you have money for a lifetime. So, that's something definitely to consider. And with trust-based planning, you can put in provisions to protect that. So you could have a trust set up so that should something happen to you and your children are around that age,
right,
that maybe you set it up where they get, X amount at 18 to set them up for college.
Very smart.
Right. And then you could
piecemeal it so that they're still getting it, but in a very smart, sound way. And
exactly. And so now you're kind of protecting them, even though you're not there to protect them.
Right.
And, you could even incentivize them and say, if you maintain a 4.0 GPA, then, hey, you get X amount as a bonus. You can do whatever you want, which is
interesting.
Yeah, which is the beauty of trust-based planning, because you have that power and that control to set up different parameters for your family, so you can make sure that what you're leaving them actually lasts as long as you hope for it to last, and it can get invested. So there's a lot more options that are available with trust-based planning that you can't necessarily accomplish with a will-based plan. So, and the other part that I think is a great part would be, you can also, let's say you don't have young children and you have adult children,
right,
but you're worried about creditors or a potential divorce taking your inheritance.
You never know. I mean, it's not something everybody wants to think about, but it's a possibility. So you can show them how to protect within that trust for something like that.
Yeah,
with regards to divorce or anything that you don't know.
Exactly.
The possibility.
You never know what the future holds, and we won't even be here. So this actually steps in and can act as some form of asset protection for your family and for the inheritance, so that it can last for your grandchildren and maybe their children. So this is a way you can do that, because at that point you can set up those provisions in there to avoid, having their inheritance be vulnerable to creditors.
And that's part of the discussion that they have with you when you do the consultation, is to find out what their needs are so that they can put those things in place with you. So that makes so much sense as far as taking the time and finding out how they want to leave things, how things are with their family, what their wishes are for the money and whatnot, so that everything is all taken care of.
Right.
So I have a question about the services that many of us see online for do-it-yourself wills. How are those estate planning services different than the services that you provide with the Solution Law Firm? And I'm sure that there are, I probably know the answer, but I would love for you to tell me and the audience as well.
Absolutely. So yeah, unfortunately, my opinion is that they're just that. They're boilerplate forms. And they don't have, they don't take into consideration your personal situation or your family dynamic. When you come into the Solution Law Firm, you're going to meet with us, with the attorneys, who we will discuss with you. We'll get to know you. We'll sit down and find out, what are you concerned about? What are your worries? What are you trying to accomplish? And we also have the education and the experience that we know what provisions should be in your estate planning documents, whether it's a will or whether it's a trust. Mm-hmm. So that's what you pay for. You don't pay for forms. It's not about the forms. And I think a lot of people feel that they're just getting some documents, but that's not what you're paying for. You're paying for our knowledge and our experience. So
it's more cookie cutter when you're going online, because they can't go into more depth like they can with you.
Right, because it has to apply to the masses. And to do that, it has to be boilerplate. So, and you don't know what you don't know, so you don't put in provisions that we know to put in. To illustrate
have an example?
Because
yes. I was curious as to, because some people want to do something fast and quick and not costly, but how does that put somebody in danger? Do you have an example of maybe, I don't know?
Yes. Okay. I think this example will put it in perspective. So there was a woman who ended up using one of these online wills.
Right.
It was a case that got drawn out in the courts. Basically, so she was a single mom. She had a baby with a gentleman. They weren't married, and they ended up ending their relationship during the pregnancy. he went his way, she went hers, and was raising the baby.
Right.
She did one of these online wills, and unfortunately, a couple years later, or 3 years later, she ended up in a horrible car accident.
Oh.
Yeah, and unfortunately died at the scene.
Awful.
And unfortunately, even more is the baby ended up dying
Oh, my goodness.
at the hospital. So it was a tragedy either way, and her family ended up bringing a wrongful death action against the party who ended up crashing into them.
Right.
And they recovered $2 million, $1 million each.
Wow.
Well, because this mom, the woman, had this will in place,
Right.
all of her settlement money and her assets went to her child, as she put in her
Sure.
will.
Sure.
And then at that point, because the baby's only next of kin was the father ended up with everything.
No, the father that wasn't in this child's life or her life,
Right.
now inherited all this money because they're no
Everything.
longer. And this was all from oh my goodness.
Right.
That's a horrible story.
Right, and there are provisions that could have been put in place that should have been there. But again, this is something that's why you're coming to us. We know to put certain provisions in there.
Wow.
So unfortunately, I can imagine that wasn't the result that
No,
this woman.
that's not what she wanted to happen. Not that you anticipate any of that happening, but that would have been, I would think, the last person that she would want
Right.
the money to go to.
Absolutely.
Somebody
So-
who wasn't in their life.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So you don't, again, like I said before, we don't know what we don't know.
Right.
And that's why you come to us. That's what we're here for. That is what you're paying for. And that's part of it.
Clearly, because if there's a client that you have that has somebody that is not in their life and they don't want, they're going to go through all of those discussions with you and say, look, this is who the next person's going to be, and then after that, this isn't, like, you're going to set all those provisions in
Right.
place to protect them and their assets or whatever might.
Exactly,
be
and we'll get to
along the
know
line.
you and know the client and understand.
Right.
We would ask about this situation. Well, how would you like this to be handled? How would you like this to be handled? And we'll be able to present to our clients, this is what would happen if this happens, and this is what will happen
Right.
if this happens. So then they can make a more educated choice about how they want their planning to be.
Of course.
And not everyone's going to feel the same, and there's no cookie cutter or one size fits all.
Right.
We tailor it to each individual client's wishes. And
As well, it should be.
And it
so
should
that,
be.
that makes sense.
No two families are the same.
Thank you for explaining that to us. So, how does this all work? What does the process look like for somebody who wants to set up their estate planning with you?
Well, it's actually very simple. They can contact us by phone, or they can go to our website and fill out an online form to request more information. At that point, we'll schedule you for a free initial consultation, and we'll send you some paperwork to fill out so that we can get a better understanding of what assets you have and what
Right.
it is that you're looking to do. You'll then come in, we'll meet with you, we'll talk with you, we'll get to know you, we'll learn about who you are, what you're trying to accomplish, if you have any fears, if you have any concerns, we'll address those, and we'll go through the different scenarios. We'll give you some education as far as what would happen if you did a will-based plan.
Right.
What would happen if you did a trust-based plan.
Giving them options to see what would be the best choice and fit for them.
Exactly, and based on their family.
Right.
Because again,
Everybody's different and
different. Right, and then at that point, with that knowledge, we can sit with our clients and make those decisions, and then once a decision has been made as far as the type of planning, that's when we'll draft the plan. We meet up again, we review it with the clients. If there's any changes, we make them. Once everything's finalized, we set up a meeting for a signing meeting, and the documents get finalized, and now you have that peace of mind knowing everything's taken care of. And it's not as bad as people think. I mean, it's really not that bad.
No, I can't imagine. And you put people at ease, so I think that's you know what you're doing, and very professional, but you're very compassionate and understanding, and I think you have a really nice way about you. So I think that
thank you
in
so
an
much.
uncomfortable situation and conversation, but everybody should take care of. So you mentioned your office, that they would come for the appointment. Where are you located? And I wanted to also have you give your website, email, and phone number so that people who are watching this and want to find out more, they can contact you at the office.
Absolutely.
At the Solution Law Firm.
We have two main offices. One is in Wellington, and we also have one in Broward County in Tamarack. They can reach us at our website at www.solutionlawfirm.com or by phone at 561-500-7658. And they can email me at Natalie, Natalie, at solutionlawfirm.com.
Perfect. Okay, so what are a few estate planning tips that everyone should know? Do you have like a top 3 or something? Because,
I do. I think my first one would be to get it done. Just do it. I think, unfortunately, the biggest barrier to estate planning is actually doing and going and getting it done. It's not like taxes that there's a deadline every year that we have to file our taxes, or there's a deadline for, certain things that we have to do in our lives. Because there is no deadline, I think that's probably the biggest barrier to estate planning.
Absolutely.
Right, because I think we all know that we should do it, and we think about it here and there, but it's just doing it.
Right.
So that would be my first tip.
Nike, just do it.
Just do it, yeah. Just get it done. So that would be what I would say is the number one thing that I recommend.
And the second one?
The second one would be to make sure you have adequate life insurance. I think this is something that I also see that often gets overlooked, and I can't tell you how many people I have come across that didn't have adequate life insurance, and it's a very important topic. And what I say is, especially if you're the main breadwinner for the family, is that's something you have to look at and determine, do you have enough for your family to be able to survive after you're gone and no longer bringing in that paycheck? So, every family is different, but I would say that's probably my second biggest thing that I think people should look into.
Right. And number 3?
All right. So the third thing is, let's say you do have your estate plan, and either whether you went to an attorney's office or you did it online, I think it should be reviewed every 3 years, because that's something, it's not a one and done kind of document.
Right.
As our lives change, so should our planning. So during different stages in our lives, we have different concerns, and that's something we should look at least every 3 years, or after each major life event. And by life event, I mean a new baby, a divorce, a marriage, the buying of a new house, maybe moving to a different state. So, every state has their own laws. So if you just moved to Florida and you did your estate planning a year ago, I would have
it's time to have it re-reviewed.
Right, because there might be certain things that happened before that, or in that state, that don't apply here. So you just want to have that reviewed, because that's something that I think should be done.
Fantastic. Well, I can't believe we're already wrapping up. So I want to thank you so much, Natalie Jacos from the Solution Law Firm, for being my special guest here tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here. I think we've all learned so much about a very important subject. Your knowledge and information are essential for providing solutions to clients with estate planning needs. Having a plan is key for success in all aspects of our life: personal, professional, financial, physical, and emotional. Natalie, once again, how can someone reach you at the Solution Law Firm for a free consultation about a will, trust, or other services that you provide?
Well, thank you again, Jordana, for having me on the show.
Absolutely.
It was a pleasure. And yes, they can reach me at www.solutionlawfirm.com or by phone at 561-500-7658. Or again, you can email me at Natalie@solutionlawfirm.com.
I love ending with a quote. I'm going to try and wrap it up real quick. A dream written down with a date becomes a goal, which I think is appropriate for tonight. A goal broken down into steps becomes a plan. And a plan backed by action makes your dreams come true. I want to thank you for joining us tonight on Go Beyond. I'm your host, Jordana Foster. As a motivational speaker and mindset coach, I'm here to take you and your business from where you are to where you want to be. You can contact me at 305-753-6758. Message me on my Facebook at Ready, Set, Go Beyond, or email me at readysetgobeyond@gmail.com to find out more about my coaching programs or to find out how to be a guest or sponsor on my show. Again, Natalie, thank you so much. You've been amazing. And
likewise.
Again, I really think people need to hear this information. And if you have a plan in place, if you've moved here from somewhere else, if you have a different life, situation going on, you're recently divorced, you're getting married, you have a child, definitely contact Natalie and just have these important conversations
Right.
so that you can have that peace of mind that we all need to have so that you know that things are in place later on. And, you know, real quick before I end this, real quick, I forgot to ask you, and I don't know if we have enough time, about probate.
Oh,
If
actually,
I forgot to ask that, if that's okay. And then we can say goodnight. But I think that's an important piece that I know that you offer to your clients.
it is, and yes, it's so important, and I'm glad you brought it up
Sorry.
because, I don't know how we mixed
I don't
it
know,
up.
I forgot
it
about
is.
that.
But yeah, so probate is a court process that your loved ones will have to go through if we die with a will or without a will. And it's, very costly.
Right.
So, and it could take a long time. So, from a small estate, maybe not so bad. It could be about 3 to 6 months.
Right.
But if you have a full probated estate,
Something more substantial.
right, now you're looking at a year to who knows how long. It could be 3 years. And that's assuming there's no will contest, that there's no issues. But, sometimes these things get held up. So we definitely think that part of the planning process and part of that education is informing our clients about this probate process, because for some people that might be the deciding factor about which type of planning to do.
Right.
With trust-based planning, you avoid the probate process. So that's where another benefit that a trust plan will give you is that you do avoid this. And another issue with probate is, you're going through the court process, and this is where your family will have to tie up everything, all your assets, pay off any creditors, pay any taxes that you have,
Right.
and then distribute all the remaining assets to whoever it is that either you left in your will or through the laws of intestacy that the state prescribes. So that would be part of that. So that is something to consider when you're
I'm
deciding.
so glad that I remembered to ask
I
you that,
know,
because that's
thank
very
you.
important. So again, wills, trusts, probate, all of your questions. Again, Natalie Jocos with the Solution Law Firm. I'm Jordana Foster with Go Beyond, and it has been a pleasure having you. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, and I look forward to having you join us here next week. Take care now. Bye-bye.
This time
True
of year,
potential
and this is
to
when
thrive
people really
personally
start to
and
experience this,
professionally.
the increase
Learn how to
in
take
issues
you
with
and your business to the
itchy
next level.
eyes, runny nose, all of these different factors. Maybe a dry cough, maybe a productive cough, all of these different factors. So I've been